Welcome back. The Western New York Women's Foundation is a trailblazing organization in our community, and here with the details on their upcoming Leadership Summit is Suzanne D'Amico. Thanks for coming in, Suzanne.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, before we get into the summit, I'd like for you to share with our viewers all about the Women's Foundation and their mission for the women and girls in our community.
Sure. So the Western New York Women's Foundation is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year.
Wow.
And we're really, really proud of that. We've been around making a difference in our community for a long time. And the mission of our organization is to cultivate a culture of possibilities and to transform systems and culture and policy to help women have to thrive in their lives. And so we do that in a number of areas. One is advocacy, where we're at the highest levels advocating for things like childcare. We have voice, things like this, going on interviews and giving voice to issues. We have a women's economic mobility pathway that helps women with workforce development and education. And then lastly, our fourth pillar is leadership, which is what we're going to talk about today.
That's right. Let's talk about that Leadership Summit and what we can expect from this year.
Sure. So it's May 31st. Registration is at 11:30. It begins at 12:30 and goes till 5:30. The summit will take place at the University of Buffalo North Campus in the Alumni Arena. And last year we had over 400 women in attendance. And I can tell you as of today, I have 436 registered.
Wow.
So I know that we're going to well exceed that 400 number. It's just a wonderful day of networking, communication, and sessions. And the beauty of the summit is that it's tailored to a woman at any level of leadership. So if you're an aspiring leader, 0 to 5 years in your career, there's programming for you. An emerging leader, 6+, we have sessions for you. And experienced leaders are going to help us with networking. And this year we've added an entrepreneurial pathway, which is really exciting. Some of the feedback that we received from the summit last year was that the female entrepreneurs were really looking for a space to sort of network with other women and other entrepreneurs. So we have put this pathway together, and it's really great. We're going to have some information on like different types of funding and a tabling event where all these entrepreneurial resources will be in one space, so that, you know, I think it's hard when you're starting a small business to like really understand and really find all the pieces, and we're hoping that we brought them all in one place.
Okay, so that's really how you personalize the experience, because there's a lot of people there, but there's a lot of different sessions, so you kind of can just read up about what it is and think about what your life path is and figure out the sessions for you.
Yeah, and everything that we've put together is very data-driven. I mean, that is really what we do as an organization. So we did a lot of surveys and focus groups to understand what women at those levels of leadership want and need. And then we surveyed the experienced leaders who manage those women of the places that they thought that they needed some help in as well. So when you look at your career, you should fit nicely into a pathway, but if you're not, it's okay, because you can do one session here, one session there, depending on what's best for you.
Okay, I like it. Can you tell us about the keynote speaker this year?
Sure, so I'm really excited. Renee Marino is an international keynote speaker, and she has been seen on Broadway. She was Mary Delgado in Jersey Boys. And part of her experience is that without effective communication and really believing in yourself, she would never have gotten to where she's gotten. So basically, she spoke up at the right moment, and all of her opportunities have sort of come from that. And so she's going to take us through why effective communication is so important for meaningful relationships and understanding different methods of communication. Most of our, a lot of our aspiring leaders were hired during COVID on Zoom. We're still doing a ton of Zooms. And when is it right to Zoom or pick up the phone or actually speak to someone in person? And she's going to address all of that. And I know even in our office, we're 5 generations of women working. So we all have different ways of doing business. And so understanding effective communication across those 5 generations, I think, is really important as well.
Definitely. As my grandma, Patricia Glover, used to always say, closed mouths don't get fed. You have to know, you have to speak up.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of the other panel discussions you have going on and the notable women that will be in attendance.
Sure. So we're going to talk about fostering resiliency. We're going to try to dive into why people follow and understand, being a leader is about making people follow you and what that takes. The biggest thing that I think is going to be really amazing is at the end of the summit, there's an hour of networking. So we bring all of these experienced leaders into a room with all of our participants, and we do a very fast networking session. But the summit the sessions that we have previously will help you manage that hour of networking. And we're really excited. Zanetta Everhart is one of our experienced leaders. And we have Allison Brashear, who was an Athena Award winner last year. So we have some pretty wonderful, generous, and powerful women that are going to help move the needle forward for women in the leadership.
All right,
realm.
something for everyone. Thank you so much for coming in, Suzanne.
It is my pleasure.
For details and to register for this event, you can do so at WNYWomen'sFoundation.org/leadership summit. Thanks again for coming in.
Thank you.